Imagine this. You're having one of the worst days of your life. Everything feels like it's falling apart, and the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. But then, out of nowhere, a single act of kindness changes everything. It sets off a chain reaction that transforms not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Sounds too good to be true? Well, this is exactly what happened to Jack. His story will remind you that even in our darkest moments, hope can find its way in. Jack was just an ordinary man. He worked hard every day, pouring his heart and soul into his job. But life, as it often does, threw him a curveball. One cold afternoon, Jack walked out of his office for the last time. The company he had dedicated years to was downsizing, and he was one of the many employees let go. The news hit him like a ton of bricks. It wasn't just about losing a job. It was about losing his sense of stability, his purpose, and his ability to provide for himself and his family. As Jack made his way to the subway that evening, his mind was racing. He felt an overwhelming sense of defeat. How would he pay his bills? What would he tell his loved ones? The crowded subway car was a blur of faces, but Jack hardly noticed. He sank into a seat, trying to gather his thoughts, but the anxiety only grew stronger. The walls of the subway seemed to close in on him as he stared at the floor, lost in despair. The train screeched to a halt at the next station, and passengers shuffled in. Among them was a woman, visibly pregnant, struggling to hold on to the handrail as the train lurched forward. Jack glanced up and noticed her discomfort. Without a second thought, he stood up and offered her his seat. She looked at him with gratitude and smiled, easing into the seat he had vacated. That simple act of kindness, small as it may seem, was the beginning of something extraordinary. The woman, whose name was Emily, struck up a conversation with Jack. At first, it was small talk, comments about the weather and the bustling city life. But soon, Emily noticed the heaviness in Jack's eyes. She asked him if he was okay, and for the first time that day, Jack let his guard down. He opened up about his struggles, about losing his job, the years of effort that seemed wasted, and the uncertainty that now loomed over his future. Emily listened attentively, her expression soft and understanding. When Jack finished speaking, she didn't offer empty platitudes or dismiss his pain. Instead, she smiled warmly and said something that Jack would never forget. "Don't worry, everything will be fine. I have an idea for you." She reached into her bag and pulled out a business card. Handing it to Jack, she explained that her husband owned a company and might have a position available. "I'll talk to him about you," she said. "Maybe this is the fresh start you need." Jack stared at the card in disbelief. He hadn't expected anything from that subway ride, certainly not a lifeline from a stranger. He thanked Emily profusely as they exchanged contact information. When the train stopped at her station, she waved goodbye and stepped off, leaving Jack standing there, clutching the card like it was a winning lottery ticket. For the first time in days, Jack felt a glimmer of hope. He held on to that business card as if it were a beacon guiding him out of the storm. When he got home, he sat down and began to reflect. He realized he couldn't let this opportunity slip away. Over the next few days, Jack prepared himself for the possibility of an interview. He updated his resume, made a list of his skills and achievements, and rehearsed answers to potential questions. Though the fear of rejection lingered, it was overshadowed by the hope Emily had given him. Her kindness had reignited a spark within him, a belief that things could get better. 3 days later, Jack found himself standing in front of the office address listed on the card. His heart pounded in his chest as he stepped inside. The receptionist greeted him warmly and ushered him into a meeting room. Moments later, the hiring manager walked in and introduced himself. To Jack's surprise, the manager mentioned Emily by name. "She spoke very highly of you," he said with a smile. That recommendation carried weight, and Jack knew he owed it all to her. The interview went smoothly, and by the end, the manager offered Jack a position at the company. As Jack walked out of the office that day, he felt like a new man. The weight on his shoulders had lifted, replaced by a profound sense of gratitude. He couldn't stop smiling as he thought about how one chance encounter on the subway had led him here. But Jack's story didn't end there. Inspired by Emily's generosity, he made a promise to himself. If he ever had the opportunity to help someone in need, he wouldn't hesitate. Over the next few months, Jack settled into his new job and began volunteering at a local help center. He shared his story with others, encouraging them to stay hopeful even in the face of adversity. Jack's efforts didn't go unnoticed. His story of resilience and kindness began to inspire those around him. He organized food drives, mentored job seekers, and even helped fund scholarships for underprivileged students. Jack had discovered a new calling, not just to succeed professionally, but to make a difference in the lives of others. Jack often thought about Emily and the impact her small gesture had on his life. He realized that kindness has a ripple effect. It spreads, touching more lives than we can imagine. By helping him, Emily had indirectly helped countless others through the work Jack now did in his community. Jack's journey is a powerful reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can have life-changing effects. A simple smile, a listening ear, or a helping hand can be the light someone needs in their darkest hour. So, dear viewers, let Jack's story inspire you to spread kindness wherever you go. You never know whose life you might change, or how your own life might be changed in return. If this story touched your heart, give this video a like and share it with someone who needs a little hope today. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us of the goodness in the world. Together, let's create a ripple effect of kindness that reaches far and wide.